When it comes to stablecoins, I know that I see a lot of your comments saying, Nick, give it a break with the stablecoins. Talk about something that's going to lead to the value, on chain that will actually affect these networks. And I want you guys to understand that it all begins with stablecoins. We are starting to see the beginning phase of the biggest revolution, which is going to be happening through tokenization. And I'm not the only one saying this. In fact, a lot of prominent names in the space like Chainlink are now talking about this. And I really do think that it reinforces the idea that some of these great utility-based projects like XRP are going to be 10 times, if not 100 times bigger than what they are today. And you might say, well, Nick, you're crazy because of the market cap that would be needed for that. But think about the value of some of these asset classes that will be tokenized. And by the way, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to happen over time. And I know that you guys hate to hear that, but listen, I'm not a YouTuber that comes on here and says, hey, guess what? XRP is going to go to $5,000 in the next 24 hours. It's just ridiculous thought process when it comes to that stuff. So, when we think about what's actually going on here, stablecoins are definitely a huge focus because it accelerates everything else after that. This is the starting point. But we're going to go over this. We're going to talk about this as well. So sit back, relax. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hope by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So when it comes to stablecoins, Chainlink said that they're not the end game. They said that they're just the tip of the iceberg because beyond stablecoins, you have tokenized treasuries, commodities, funds, corporate debt, equities, derivatives, real estate, insurance, infrastructure, art, and so much more. Like when we think about how big some of these markets are, you're talking, tens, if not hundreds of trillions of dollars. And this is something that I want all of you to be aware of. Like, right now this space is trading in the single-digit trillion-dollar, valuations. XRP is worth about over $120 billion roughly. We are so early, and I want you guys to realize that if you can go back in time, ask anyone that was around during the dot-com boom, right? If you could go back and tell people, hey, if you could go back to that time, would you be buying up Amazon and would you sell it after the initial impulse, or would you just wait it out and would you just hold? I guarantee you almost everyone would say that they wish that they just held on to Amazon because a lot of people will sell too early. A lot of people right now are in a rush to sell. And I've stated many times over that we use these bull and bear cycles while we're still in the hype and speculative phase to not only add to our bags by taking profits, but also to make sure that we are planting seeds that over the next 5-10 years, allows us to not only be retired, but be completely financially free. And I do think that a lot of those projects are like XRP, HBAR, QNT, projects that have substantial utility and that will thrive in a tokenized digital economy. But on top of that, let's actually go over here real quick to this post because on top of stablecoins, we continue to see them accelerate. Latest, Stripe CEO says the company is finally testing its stablecoin product a decade in the making. Look at the date that this was posted, April 25th, the same day that Korean banks to launch joint stablecoin got announced on April 25th. On top of that, April 22nd, EU banks consider stablecoin launches after Mika. And also, Japan's SMBC plans stablecoin development with Ava Labs collaboration. This was 3 weeks ago. Then, in the beginning of April, Brazil's largest bank weighs stablecoin launch. And if we go back to February, Bank of America considers stablecoin launch. Guys, these are just a few of the stablecoin announcements that we have experienced over just like the last couple months. There's been so many big moves happening around stablecoins that I want you guys to realize that, this is happening. It's happening right now. The stablecoin revolution is upon us. And this reinforces projects like XRP. Why? Well, because XRP was created initially for financial use cases. It's the first DLT that has a built-in DEX. It was built for tokenization. It was built for payments. And today, when we think about all of these stablecoin launches, Anderson, put it perfectly. He said, worth repeating, you may have noticed that everyone is creating their own stablecoin. Somehow, all of these stablecoins will have to interoperate. XRP, QNT, etc. But still, liquidity will be fragmented unless 1 or 2 USD stablecoins become the standard for everyone to use. Now, when we are thinking about this, Okay, XRP's main use case, being a neutral bridge currency, is so valuable in a world where we have, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 stable coins, things as, like CBDCs or even tokenized things of value. You need that neutral bridge currency that can allow for all of these things to communicate and settle between one another. XRP's use case gets more and more reinforced every single time that we see a new stablecoin. And we're going to have multiple currencies that are, stablecoins. Euro, yen, yes, the Brazilian real, like all of these things are happening now. And what's crazy about this is everyone thinks about RLUSD and they say, oh, well, most of the supply is on Ethereum, so it's bearish. Last time I checked, Ethereum is not viable for scalable financial use cases. It's just not. You're not going to move $1 trillion through, the public Ethereum network. You're just not, because of the gas fees and the finality. But on top of that, right, we have over here the stablecoin market surged by $4.58 billion in just 1 week, nearing the $240 billion milestone. Tether, USDC, and new contenders like USDS and RLUSD continue to drive growth. And if we check this out, right, we're at about $231.42 billion in terms of market cap for stablecoins. The monthly transfer volume is up 7.3% at $2.24 trillion. This is insane. But if we go over here to DeFi Llama, we can see that stablecoins are actually sitting at about almost $240 billion. USDT dominance is about 61.77%, but that's been dropping over the last couple months now, especially with contenders like RLUSD. Now, the 30-day change here is about 2.18% in terms of, how much has been added. And if we scroll down the list, we could actually see RLUSD down here. I don't think that this one's actually up to date because it says 317 million, which we'll get to here in a second. But it's crazy to see this much growth around the stablecoin market. And it's also showing us how quick stablecoins are growing and becoming a much bigger piece of the global financial system. And talking more so about that, Reese Merrick from Ripple put out a post saying the stablecoin market cap just surged 32% in the past 6 months, climbing from 168.78 billion to 223.61 billion. Guys, we're now at 239 billion from the time that he posted this, and this was on the 26th. With M2 now at 21.76 trillion, stablecoins make up 1% of the global money supply. Slowly but surely, then all at once. We are just at the beginning. RLUSD, Ripple, let's go. Now, what's crazy? I said this is actually crazy to see. We officially make up 1% of the global M2 stablecoins, or M2 in stablecoins. I do expect Ripple to launch RLGBP, RL Euro, RL Yen, RL AUD, and many other stablecoins as well. The entire Forex market is moving on-chain through stablecoins. Now is the time to lock in. And yes, now is the time to lock in. And the reason why I say that is because if we are starting to see stablecoins grow to just 1% now, imagine what they're going to be in a year from now or 2 years from now. Because even when we look at this chart, okay, back in about roughly, we can go all the way back to like March of just 2024. We were at sub 0.75% of the global M2 supply. From that, in just 1 year, we've basically added 0.25% of the M2 supply in just stablecoins. That's crazy. That is crazy to me. But on top of that, if we think about what's been happening around stablecoins, right? It's been rallying Visa. It outpaced Visa in volume already in 2024. That's just 2024. We're not even talking about 2025. And this is telling us that there's a lot of demand for stablecoins. I mean, even if you look at stablecoins over on rwa.xyz, you could see that the holders are up to over 100 and almost 60 million. But the monthly transfer volume is something just crazy to me because we're at 2.24 trillion. We're talking over $20 trillion for the whole year if this volume continues. And by the way, I don't think that I have to tell you guys that we're on a downtrend in the market right now. Things aren't extremely bullish, yet we're seeing transfer volume surging. And if we actually look at the transfer volume around stablecoins and we go to the monthly, the biggest month around stablecoin transfer volume was back in December. We did close to $4 trillion in the month of December alone. And by the way, if we look at yearly transfer volume, this was 2024. We did $27 trillion in overall monthly or in overall transfer volume in just 2024 alone. In 2023, look at the difference here. You are talking about roughly from 9.6, almost 9.7 trillion to $27 trillion. That's an insane amount. Like, that's over $17 trillion almost. And right now in 2025, which we're not even at the halfway mark, we're at almost $9 trillion. And the XRP ledger is making up $410 million of that. This is showing us that stablecoins are no joke. They are growing and they are becoming a much bigger piece of the global economy. And on top of that, we know that Reese Merrick recently just made a post actually saying big week pending in Dubai with token 2049 kicking off. Tons of meetings and side events planned with like-minded leaders in this amazing space we represent. We even have Ripple's very own Jack McDonald flying in to discuss all things RLUSD, bring on the energy. So again, I really look at these events because I'm sure that Jack McDonald is going to give us a great insight on RLUSD. Remember that this is the same individual that told us that RLUSD will be a top 5 stablecoin by the end of this year, as we do see. I thought it was on this one, but it's actually on this one. So when we think about RLUSD becoming a top 5 stablecoin, at the time that he wrote this, which was towards the end of March, the market cap of RLUSD was about 170 million. Okay, we are now at $344 million, up 78% roughly in the last 30 days. Holders up 1.28%, and monthly transfer volume is up to almost $5 billion. This is up 73% in the last 30 days. And yeah, we can see the transfer volume right now. Now on Ethereum, it's outpacing XRP. It really is. All right, I've been focused on this right now. If we go back, the last major update from the XRP ledger was back in like the end of March. It was kind of neck to neck. I don't know what it is right now on the XRP ledger just because we don't have the updated view here. I would love to see what the actual monthly transfer volume is for the month of April here. I mean, this is like kind of I guess it's like half of the month. It was at 740.7 million. If we're thinking about that, then the transfer volume on XRP would probably have to be around close to the same amount because, we're almost at 1.5 billion. So it's probably around like, 700 million or so. I don't know what the actual number would be. But, we know that the XRP ledger has also been growing around. So we can actually see the monthly transfer volume down here. I don't know why. I don't think it's updated though, because we're not seeing it on the actual metric here, but they're saying 128 million. Don't know if that's correct or not. But regardless, the main thing that I'm actually looking at here is monthly active addresses and holders around the XRP ledger. But we know 94 million's out there on the XRP ledger, 250 million is on Ethereum. But again, I'm not too worried about this. Like, a lot of people keep asking me, Nick, are you worried about, RLUSD being mainly minted on Ethereum and a lot of the volume being on Ethereum? No, because again, we go back to Anderson's post here. When all of this is realized when everything is actually happening here, we have all of these stable coins, these things need to be bridged. These things need to be bridged. The most exciting part about this though, is that I'm not just looking at it as, oh yeah, it's going to be bullish for XRP. Like, think about what's happening right now. Finance itself is being digitized. For the Forex market, fiat currencies are all moving on chain. This is something to watch closely. Things are heating up in a big way. I'm very excited about this. I think that this 1%, this is a crazy metric to focus on because it's it's all uphill from here. Like even during the bear market, it's still an uphill battle because it's just one phase of the cycle. Going forward, this space is going to continue to heat up more and more and more. Trillions will be tokenized. More institutional players will be a part of this space. I'm very excited about the future for not just Ripple and XRP, but for the entire space around utility, because I do think that we're going to move out of the hype and speculative side, and I think that the seeds that we are planting right now are going to grow and flourish like you've never seen before. So I'm very excited about the future. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, though. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you guys did enjoy this video, definitely leave a like, subscribe, notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.